You're not waiting for me, are you?
No, we're just waiting 1 more minute to start.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So should we start?
Yes, sure. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our third webinar, IMIM webinar. Today's topic is the role of the manager and performance measurement. And today, I'm very happy to have as a guest Professor Umit Bititci and Professor Asilbek Nurgav Devshov from Edinburgh University. Professor Bititci, he's our keynote speaker. I will give more details about his very impressive professional career later on. And Professor Asilbek, he's a coordinator from Edinburgh University related to the IMIM program. And in my case, I'm the coordinator from the Universidad Politécnica de Madrid. So before we start, and as we're waiting for the rest of the people to join, please be welcome to this webinar. Here, UPM is the coordinator of this IMIM program. Our IMIM is a master program that is a multi-site program, which means that you get studying in different places, and we are focused on developing business and managerial skills for our students in any type of organizations, many manufacturing and service industries. We have been recognized by the European Union with Erasmus Mundus Labor, which is a label for educational excellence. And basically, this is the path that our students follow. So the first semester, they start in UPM, getting general management introduction courses. Then they go to Edinburgh University in the UK to learn more about how to manage projects and enterprise. And during the third semester, they can select any of these 4 options to continue their studies. They could continue in Edinburgh University in the Dubai campus to learn more about logistics and supply chain management. They could also go to Politecnico di Torino in Italy for a specialization in engineering and finance. Or another option is Northwestern Polytechnical University in Xi'an in China to learn more about how to do business with this region. Or they can go to Mexico to the Monterrey Tech in any of these 3 locations to learn more about data science and innovation. Finally, during the last semester, our students conduct their master thesis, and this could be virtually anywhere in the world. They will have a tutor from any of the partner universities. It could be company-based or university-based. We have a cohort every year that is very international. We account for 25 different countries, and that come from all around the world, mainly Asia, Europe, and South America. And well, these are some of the examples of the companies that hire our graduates. As you can see, they are in top industry sectors and very well-known brands in their fields. So this is just a brief introduction about our program. So I will now hand it over to Professor Asilbek, who will give you a short introduction about Edinburgh, one of the partners of the IMIM program.
So good afternoon, everyone. Today, let me just explain you why you must choose our program and study in Edinburgh. Next slide, please. So just a small quick overview of our university, University of Edinburgh. Please, next. Our name is coming from the 2 important and famous people. First one from George Heriot, who was the benefactor of education in Edinburgh. He was one of the closest people to King James VI. And another is the pioneer of steam power, one of the famous Scottish engineer, James Watt. And the name of those 2 people, our university is called Edinburgh. Next slide, please. This year, our university was established in 1821, so this is our anniversary year. It was a century before when our first activity started. We were the first World Mechanics Institute, and we are the oldest university in the UK. We have more than 1,700 members of staff on our campus and over 400 programs. In UK campus, I will explain how many campuses do we have, and especially in UK campus, we have 11,000 students, and we have one of the oldest alumni associations, which is called Watt Club. Next slide, please. Approximately 25,000 students are studying at the Heriot-Watt University, that's globally, and 35% of those students, 35% of students in UK campus are coming from 123 countries outside UK. So it's a really very international university with the international students. Please continue. We have 5 campuses, 2 of them in the UK. We have main campus in Edinburgh, another campus in Scottish Borders, and we have a small campus in Orkney on the island. We have very new and very modern campus in Dubai, where is now nearly 5,000 students are studying there, and our Malaysian campus have approximately 2,000 students. Next slide, please. Our Edinburgh campus is very beautiful and located in Edinburgh. It's only 6 miles from the city center, and transportation is very easy from Edinburgh Airport. It's only 4 miles, and there are approximately 2,000 dormitory for students. So you can easily come and stay in our campus and enjoy the campus life. Next slide, please. Next, please. So Edinburgh, I think, yeah. City of Edinburgh is very, very beautiful, and I think one of the most beautiful cities in Europe. Yeah. I'm with my daughter, and she's asking me to come. Sorry for that.
You should get her to do the presentation, and you shout behind her.
Yeah. So I mentioned our city is very really beautiful and historical. Even it's protected by UNESCO, and so please come and enjoy and look for this historical city. Next slide. And in case of events, for the whole year there are very interesting and very fantastic events like a Fringe festival in the summer. And in the winter we have a Hogmanay festivals. I think you must be a part of those festivals and you can enjoy these events. Let's continue, Isaac. And of course, nightlife in Edinburgh is, I think, one of the very enjoyable for students, and especially in the city center. Our nightlife starting from Friday to Sundays, continuing till morning. And we have also, Isaac, please continue. We have also another campus. I'm sorry. I would like to just say that we are responsible for the coordinators of IMIM program in Heriot-Watt. Next slide, please. And as Isaac have mentioned, you have a choice to continue the 3rd semester in our Dubai campus, which is opened in 2005. And now our Dubai campus have moved to Knowledge Park. It's very new and very modern. Next slide, please. There are more than 5,000 students, and as I have mentioned, it's not so maybe far from the Dubai airport. However, sorry, it's only 20 kilometers from downtown of Dubai. Please continue. Dubai, I think it's a place where you can have different activities, starting from like you can see Jumeirah Beach, you can see new very big and interesting buildings. So just join our program and enjoy both Edinburgh and our Dubai campus. That's all. Isaac, please continue. Of course, there are lots of events like showrooms. Expo was last year there. You can find the Dubai Opera there and one of the biggest arena, which is called Coca-Cola. Isaac. And in the case of nightlife, I can say that honestly that I didn't know how is nightlife in Dubai, but please join us and taste by yourself, learn by yourself how the nightlife, and after that you will tell us if you enjoy or not. Thank you for listening our presentation related with our university. I hope that we will see you next education year. Yes, Isaac.
Thank you very much for this introduction, Asidbek. As a Edinburgh University alumni, I can totally recommend the Edinburgh campus. You brought back some memories from my master studies. So definitely I hope that our IMIM candidates or the new students for the next course are able to enjoy this campus and also the Dubai campus that looks very, very impressive. So I think this is one of the characteristics of this multi-site master, that you get exposed to different countries and cultures, educational systems, different industry practices, and definitely this will enhance the different learning that the master will provide. So thank you for that. So now we go to our main keynote. So I'm very happy to introduce Professor Umit Bititci. I had the pleasure to meet him, I think, last year. We were promoting also the IMIM, and Brian Rogers was organizing at the time a career fair. So he was very kind to welcome me and Susanna from UPM. And he has a very impressive career. So he's a professor of business performance and currently the Deputy Executive Dean at Edinburgh Business School. This Edinburgh Business School is the, let's say, the name of the Edinburgh University Business School, where IMIM students will be studying or have studied in the case of alumni, because we also have some alumni in this webinar. He has around 35 years of academic and industrial experience, and he focuses on researching high-performing companies and how, I mean, what makes them different and how to manage these different type of companies, either public or also private. He has led several international research projects, okay? So around 20 million pounds, I think. These are the budgets that he has handled, and he has published around 200 papers, which is very high. I mean, for academic career, for other academics that also have joined us. So this is a very good academic production, and he collaborates with different conferences and workshops, and of course, he has, I mean, we're very glad that he accepted our invitation to deliver this webinar today. His work relates in understanding organizations in complex socio-technical systems, okay, and how is that they exist in wider ecosystems. So hopefully he will be able to share with all of us his perspective on this field during the webinar. He also specializes in modeling and understanding the shape of the behavior of the system and the constraints for performance. So as you remember, today's topic is the role of the manager in performance measurement. So we definitely are gonna get more in-depth insights about this. And finally, his last research line is related to the circular economy and how collaborations and ecosystems are created to contribute to sustainable circular economies in the different industries. So please, thank you once again, Professor Umit Bititci, for joining us in this seminar. Please, the floor is yours. I will handle over the presentation for you.
Thank you. Thank you. And hi, everyone. I hope you're well. And I see one or two names I recognize here. Hello, Selçuk. How are you? How are things in Istanbul?
Thank you. That's great to recognize me. I'm really happy again to listen a subject from you. It's very valuable. Istanbul, maybe you have heard the news. We are trying to deal with the coronavirus like all of us.
Yes, yeah. I hope everything is okay.
At least my family are fine and safe. Yeah, thank you.
I just recognize the name because Selçuk used to be in my office quite a lot. That was quite a few years ago when I was going through the IMIM program, you know. So it might be that there are one or two people who are on the call who actually been some of my classes just in semester 1 of this year. Anyway, so I would like to keep this as interactive as possible. I'm going to keep my chat on. So if you want to ask anything as I go or want to say anything, just stick something onto chat and or stick your hand up and I'll stop and let you come in and we'll discuss. I have just a few slides, but before I go into this, just my own background. The photograph there was about 25, I think 10 years old or something like that. So when that photograph was taken on, I had about 25 years of academic and industrial experience. So I started life in industry designing products. I'm an engineer designing products and then designing the manufacturing systems to make those products. And then I went into engineering consultancy and management consultancy and so on. So I won't bore you with that. What I want to talk about today, so I'm going to switch start sharing my screen. By the way, before I start, just there is a little exercise I want to do with few of you. There's only a few of you, but make sure that your mobile phones are on and it's connected to internet because I want you to go and do something shortly. And I will share my screen with you. And hopefully you should be seeing my screen now. Could somebody confirm that they're seeing my screen? Yeah.
Yes, we are.
We can see.
Okay, good. By the way, I said to you I will monitor chat, and suddenly my chat has disappeared. So if you want to interrupt me, just put your microphone on and just speak. Yeah, it's only a small number of people. So right. So I've changed the title of the presentation. I just said manager ? So what does a manager do? You know, and I'm just going to start with a quote from my book. Ultimately, a manager is responsible for the performance of their business, department, unit, team, whatever. You know, you might be a responsible manager of 2 people, or you might be responsible for performance of the whole organization. But ultimately, you're responsible for performance of either the whole organization or that 2 people. It boils down to what we mean by performance, which I'm not going to go into in this presentation, but I want to. The presentation is based around some of my work and observations and working in industry and what works, what doesn't work so well. But I'm conscious that some of you actually are alumni who graduated from the program. Some of them might be thinking about coming to the program, and some might be current students who are actually graduating from the program. And what I want to do is share some insights into what makes a good manager. But it's not about leadership, right? So no, my presentation is not about leadership. So I want to sort of come down to the bottom line here. So before I actually do this, one of the things when we say ultimately the manager is responsible for performance of their business department or unit, and very few of our education programs, whether it's engineering management or is business schools or whatever, we don't really, we teach students about strategic management, marketing, human resource management, finance, accountancy, that sort of stuff. But we don't necessarily teach them about how to bring all these things together and manage the performance of the organization. That's what I do. And one of the things we do in Heriot Watt is we have courses on measuring and managing performance. And this is the angle I'm coming from. Most of my work is actually at the intersection of all those disciplines, how we bring all these disciplines together to help manage performance of organizations. So if you look at the current challenges that we face, and even before the pandemic, things were changing so much, there was so much uncertainty and all that. So this is, if those of you who are not old enough to recognize, when I was a teenager, Muhammad Ali was one of my sort of heroes. And the thing was, I'm not into boxing, by the way, it's just, he was a big figure, globally well-known, global figure, but it's that this float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And one of his strengths was his agility and his resilience. Yeah. So there are two things that characteristics here that makes a good boxer or a good organization. You need to be strong enough to survive a knock. Yeah. And having received a knock, you need to be conscious enough to change your strategy. So you might watch your opponent in television and various fights, and you figure out how your opponent fights, and you say, right, I'm gonna go into the ring, I'm gonna fight this opponent, this is gonna be my strategy. Yeah. And then you go into the ring, then you find that the opponent has changed the way they're fighting. So and you discover that, and you discover that because you got some few knocks, and you got to be able to survive that few knocks, and you got to be conscious enough that work out that things have changed, and you got to be agile enough to actually change your strategy there and then. You can't just stick to your plan. Your plan is now out of date. Tear it out, put it in the bin, start again. Okay, so you need to come up with an innovative response and change faster than your competitor. So being able to be resilient enough. So resilience is the top half of that definite statement, and the bottom half is about agility. We talk about these concepts in business quite a lot, but applies to a whole bunch of things, even in sports. Okay. And if you look at the level of uncertainty in the world, the way things are changing so fast, organizations, that doesn't have to be private organizations, it could be public organizations, charities, they all need to have these characteristics of resilience and agility. Yeah. Resilience enough to be able to survive a significant change in the market or in the environment they're operating in, and agile enough to respond and exploit the opportunities that change brings. There is a very simple 2x2 matrix that sort of represents that. So we want one dimension of this, the vertical dimension of this is about this dimension here is about operating capability. So this is about having a very focused business model, and that you are able to deliver it efficiently and effectively. And the horizontal dimension is about ability to change quickly. So this is horizontal dimension is be able to spot an opportunity, come up with innovative or a threat, come up with a innovative response and change faster than your competitors. But the real trick is if you're just very good at change, but you don't have a focused business model and that you can deliver efficiently and effectively, you end up being a jitterbug. You jump from one opportunity to another one, you're not good at anything. Or if you are very good at this, if you've got a very high operating capability, but you're not good at change, you're a time bomb. You're stuck in rails. If the world changes, there's a huge risk that you go out of business. So the best companies achieve a balance between operational operating capability and dynamic capability. If you look at literature, that people talk about exploitation and exploration, and there is they talk about ambidexterity, being able to do both to the right level of competence. Yeah. Now, so resilient and adaptable organizations and agile organizations sits at that top corner. So yeah, this bit here, that's where they sit. So I'm making this really messy, but there you go. So that's one thing to think about. So how do we achieve organizations like that? Okay, so I've got 4 different descriptions of organizations here. I'm just going to take you through them. When I'm taking you through them, can you just go to www.menti.com and vote for which organization you would like to work in, A, B, C, or D, yeah? But wait till I take you through it. You can log on as I'm talking you through it. So A, let me just change my pointer. I don't want to mess up the slide. Yeah, A is, so, you know, you seem to be jumping from one opportunity to another. The key decisions, but even though you're doing that, the key decisions are done amongst a team. You feel like a close-knit team. You like working together, and the main driver of performance appears to be you like working with each other. It's great, yeah. B is an organization where there is the boss who's making all the decisions, tells you what to do, what you need to do, doesn't tell you why you need to do it, just do what I say. The main driver of performance is that if you don't do it, you get your ass kicked. Yeah. And C is you've got a clear purpose and direction. There are clear and ambitious targets for everyone. The senior management is highly incentivized to achieve the short-term results. There's no tolerance for failure. You hit the number or you're out. And finally, D is an organization with a clear purpose and direction, just like this one. Everyone knows what's expected of them. Everyone feels they're in the same boat. There's a balance between short-term and long-term results. Actually, you're encouraged to failure. Try new things, and it's okay to fail as long as you learn from it, because you can only fail so many times, and then you'll start succeeding. And generally, people are valued, and there's a clear sense of teamwork. So go to. I'm just going to stop my presentation here. Discard annotations and bring the Mentimeter up. Okay, and here is the results. Hey, everybody, 4 people wants to work for D. And I've got, I think last time I looked, there was 9 people on the call. So the 5 people don't want to work. I think yeah. So nobody said A, B, or C. Everybody wants to work in D. Right. So I'm going to stop that just now. Go back to my presentation. If anybody else wants to vote, by the way, you can vote now, and we'll see the number this growing as we go. No, only 4 people voting. Okay. So what you just said, there are, as managers, we tend to do a number of things on organizations. And what we see here is, so manager's job is to make the organization behave in a particular way. And this management is a form of control, really. Yeah. I'm not using the word control in a derogatory way here. It's just the way it is, you know, because we talk about self-controlling, self-managing organizations, which is organizations that control themselves. Yeah. So, there is different kinds of control. So in my own discipline, I talk about, you know, sort of technical controls are being performance measures, you know, rules, policies, procedures. These are technical controls. Things as engineers we feel very comfortable with, yeah? But social controls, it could be how we use those measures to manage performance, yeah? And this is where the more behavioral, cultural, interpersonal aspects come in. If you like, in some aspect, you could say this is the vertical axis about management, this is about leadership. Yeah. very happy with that analogy. And actually, those 4 quadrants fit into those categories. So because if you are at this box here, if you are at this box here, you actually have very open participative management style. People feel comfortable, they can talk openly, but there is, you know, clarity and purpose. There are performance measures and targets are very clearly understood and shared, and there's some ownership of this because they sort of came up as a result of discussion among people. So those 4 quadrants, so our organization A, B, and C, and D fits in there. Yeah, and really, if you want to create that agile, resilient organization, we need to be here. Yeah, I won't go into details of this. You need to come to my my measuring and managing performance course to actually learn more about this. But that's where we need to do be, especially most of our work these days it's got a cognitive element. You need people to think. We need to come up with innovative ways of doing what they do. Even if they're putting cheese on top of pizza in a production line, we need them to think about how they can do that job better. So everybody needs to have 2 kinds of jobs: doing the job and thinking about how they can improve what they do. So if you think that way, then you know, we need most of, and actually we don't just need, there is evidence that organizations that sit in this quadrant significantly outperform their competitors, or in their significantly perform better than average in their sectors. And you know, the sort of names here are charismatic control, autocratic control, bureaucratic control.
Professor, sorry, we have lost your presentation.
Oh. How did we did that? When did you lose it?
After Mentimeter.
Ah, okay. So you were just I've been drawing on things, assuming that. Can you see things now?
Yeah, we can see now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Let me just wind back a little bit. So yeah, that's done. Let me just wind back here. Right. So having you all said here that you all want to work for this organization, this kind of organization, and if we go forward, this is how that maps up. We got technical and social controls, and really the quadrant you want to be in is in that quadrant where we got highly participative organization. We are actually engaging people in a conversation about the performance of the business, but giving them some structured systems that help them to have a meaningful conversations. And what I've said there was organizations who fit in that top right box, if you like. These are the charismatic control, autocratic control, bureaucratic control, and collaborative control. If you're on the top right in that D box, then you're likely to be performing better than average in your sector. So moving from that, really sort of, if you want to simplify this, what organizations do is that organizations have people who operate processes that deliver performance. So we've got good people, good processes, we've got good performance. So how the capabilities of peoples and processes and the culture together defines what mean good people, good processes, good performance. The key thing is, though, you know, if you think about control systems, we can talk about central control, formal hierarchical control, and a network. And just think about the internet. Yeah, internet is so resilient. When doesn't matter if the computers are down, networks are down, the message when you send an email from one end of the world, other end finds its way. Yeah. In organizational theory, the network type of organization is also one of the most resilient type of organizations. Yeah. And increasingly we are seeing that when organizations flatten their organizational structure, get rid of central control, yeah, get rid of bureaucracy, but give people a clear direction and purpose, and let them just go away and give them some autonomy, and let them be creative, and they can achieve some amazing results, and they can change. They can actually transform organizations in unrecognizable ways. So what does this all mean in practice? As managers, what can we do? So as managers, we can do, one thing is we can be more participative. Yeah. But second thing, we need to create management systems in organizations that engages people in a conversation, helps them to have a conversation with each other. So if you flatten the organization, create this network, we still need to give them management systems that they can actually use and enable them to have that conversation, be innovative in the right direction, and change the organization. This is where the resilience and agility comes in, but we still need those management systems. What those management systems look like. So if you look at in organizations, there are three really essential control systems. There is the vertical control system. You say, well, this is the strategy policy of the organization. This is how we're going to compete in that. And so this is about managing the organizational goals and strategy priorities, and making sure that we have alignment. So all parts of the organization working towards the same objective. So having shared objectives, understanding everything is part of that. And then we've got the horizontal control system. So we've got to make sure that, you know, our websites are creating the right sort of thing, and we can monitor how many clicks or how many potential customers are visiting our websites, how many inquiries are coming through, how many inquiries are we converting them to orders, how are our operations managing, how are our suppliers managing, are we delivering things to customers on time, and all that sort of stuff. So we are controlling flow of work, and the work could be materials, information, customers, or money. So if you're Disney World, you've got that horizontal control from customer coming and saying, from inquiring a booking to making a booking to visiting to actually enjoying themselves and going back and telling their friends, and then, you know, and also that's a flow of work through our process. There's a horizontal flow happening here. We are always dealing with the horizontal flow. You know, doesn't matter what kind of organization we have. And the circular control system is about managing continuous improvement. Yeah. So if we need to have these three management systems, but we need to find ways of creating simple management systems, integrated, simple. KISS stands for keep it simple, stupid. And the word interactive is missing there. Interactive management systems that helps people to engages them in a conversation about performance, and so they can use this these management systems to inform themselves, to inform each other, inform what's happening, what is less important, what's going to be more important. It's not inform, to agree what is more important, what's less important, what needs to be sorted out quickly, and actually do something about it. The companies at the bottom have got these all perform very well, above their market average, and they all have simple management systems. The examples I've got here. So this one here, you see, this is a vertical strategy. It's like the vertical control system, if you like to call it, or strategy management routine of Optos, which is part of Nikon. So when you go to their reception, you will see this on their wall at the entrance. And then if you go slightly or to the left of that, you see a board that looks like this. This is not their board. This is somebody else's board. This is the board from Lind Products. But you see a very similar board where you can track orders coming in to orders going out, suppliers' performance, everything else. So the whole supply chain performance is tracked and managed there. And then on the right-hand side of that wall entrance, there is another piece of a board, whiteboard in this case, with saying these are the current improvement projects we've got. That's the improvement projects we've got. And this is our current performance. This is how it's going to impact our performance. If you make these improvements, this is how it's going to impact over the next 4 years. Okay. And this particular example is output here is from actually here, David Brown Santasalo. Okay. So, but if you go into Optos, you'll see all of these on one wall, and they're all on a wall. They're not buried in a computer. They're highly interactive, and they have daily, weekly management meetings in front of this. And the key thing is, why is it in the reception? The reason the reception, they say, we got visitors coming in, you know, occasionally, that's fine. But we have employees coming through those doors twice a day. They come in every day, at least twice a day. They might leave for lunch and all that, but at least they come to work in the morning and they go home at night through that doors, through the space. So we create the space to enable them to have a conversation. Even if you're not involved in those meetings, you might be going back and say, what's this about? And you have a conversation. When you the minute somebody asks that question and you explain, what is this about? You engage them in a conversation about the performance of the organization. I've got companies, a company which name is not there actually, a company called Freeterm in Turkey, in Istanbul actually, Selçuk. They've actually implemented this across multiple sites in electronic boards. Okay, so there is, it's not only for small companies, large companies are taking this sort of approach as well. So here is oh, there's a quote from Freeterm, there's up there already. Here's a couple of quotes from yeah, it sort of Freeterm actually says it's made us much more agile, much more responsive. Yeah, and if you look at Clive Blower's Capital, which is actually a venture capital company, yeah. Equity investment portfolio, 670 million, they grow it 4.2 times in 4 years. So multiplies 670 million by 4.2, you'll get the idea of what that grew to, using this kind of management approach. The interesting thing though, you can go to all of these companies, yeah, you'll see this approach, but they will all look different. Because what they've done is, I'm just going to go to my last slide here. What they've done is, they've bought into the idea of operating like this. They haven't just copied somebody else's. They bought into the idea of operating like this, and they created their own management systems that works for them. Yeah. But when you dig under the surface, what you see is you see a very participative, open management style where everybody is involved, engaged in a conversation about performance. So it's the social control dimension there on the left-hand side. And they've got technical controls, yes, because they've got policy, strategy, they've got a strategy map. Yeah, this vertical control system in Optos you see is just a balanced scorecard, straight out of strategy map from a balanced scorecard book. Yeah. But they've got these control systems, not in complex, buried in complex management systems and software and all that, but out there. And more importantly, these are interactive. So people have a conversation about it. It doesn't sit there and it's one way. They can rub things off and change it. And in Optos's case, actually perspex glass with paper stuck in it. So they can actually go and print something else and then change it and update it. So it's highly interactive and you can change things very quickly. So let me stop at that, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Many thanks, Professor Umit, for your presentation. Very, very interesting. And as you said, now we're open for some questions from the audience.
Thanks, Professor. If it's possible, I would like to ask the first question.
Yeah, don't make it difficult. Yeah.
I was thinking for the last 10 minutes how to make it difficult.
Okay.
So the model is very interesting, especially thinking that you are choosing the leadership, let's say, managing style, collaborative managing style, and networking type. I would like to add different dimensions for this model and ask how it will be changed or will it be adjusted. First dimension is the type of the market. Like now, maybe the ideal market for this is like a developed market. However, we have emerging markets like Turkey, China, Russia, and the business mentality is different. Managing the business is different. Perception is different. That's the first dimension. Other dimension is time period, because when the economy is growing, when everything is good, no problem. Of course, you can manage the business without any problem. However, during the crisis like this, when there is the high level of uncertainty, when in the developed markets, the government is supporting the companies, while in the emerging markets, they must survive by themselves. They must be more agile and more resilient. So these two dimensions, how that model should be adjusted?
So let me answer that in two or maybe three different answers. I'm going to share my screen again. I don't know why I stopped. First thing is, I think you said economy. When the economy is uncertain, when everything's growing, when business is growing, it's not a problem usually. Yeah, but it becomes an issue. You need to be agile to deal with threats and opportunities. Yeah, if everything is growing, everybody's growing, you don't feel the pain of not jumping on the opportunity and exploiting the opportunity because you're growing anyway. Maybe somebody else might just grow a bit faster than you do. Yeah, but this is still important. Agility and resilience still important in that case, but it doesn't appear to be as important because you are still growing. But becomes when your current business model or your culture starts hurting you, that's when it becomes really thing. So when you are at times of crisis, it's more important that you actually you improve your you can't just improve your wait till improving your agility until you hit crisis. You need to create an agile organization first, a resilient and agile organization first, so that when you hit the next crisis, and there will be one, whether it's internal or externally caused, you can deal with it. Yeah. So the model is valid. It doesn't matter about how stable or volatile the environment is. Now, the second response is context is really important. Now, just imagine we are sitting in a room together, yeah, in Edinburgh, and then suddenly the alarm bell goes. Okay. Oh, before that, let me just. So let's say we're going to go to pub. Yeah, we're finishing the lecture. We're going to go to pub, and we could have a debate about which pub we want to go to. We can even discuss which pub, we can sit there, or this pub is better than that one, or this one is this kind of beer, this one's food is better, and then we can even take a vote and then we'll go. Yeah, we've got that luxury of time to do that. But if suddenly there's a fire alarm, yeah, we don't have time to say, oh, what's that? Is that a fire alarm? Okay, and then which door shall we use? Shall we use that door or that door? Well, let's take a door. Let's take a vote. Which door is going to be better? We don't have that time to do. One person needs to stand up and say, I know what we need to do. You follow me, right? So that context, that's nothing to do with so that is all businesses have to go through that context. As a university, we had to deal with that. We did that. Universities are one of the most open and collegiate organizations, if you like. But even when COVID hit, we said, this is what's going to happen. We never didn't do consultation. We didn't ask people's opinion. This is what's going to happen, because we had to deliver our teaching for last academic year, and we had to prepare for the next academic year. So we had to take a much more directive approach there. So whether if you are,
so it's more like autocratic control.
yeah, you sometimes have to go there because the context requires you to do that. It doesn't matter if it's the economy is growing or declining, or yeah. Third dimension to this, the other thing I would respond is that it's nothing to do with developing economies or emerging economies. It's to do with national culture. And I'll give you a very, very interesting example. What I've found is we've just writing the paper, we've done a study of Norway, Italy, Middle East, and we started with Syrian companies, but in Qatar was the main thing, and then and China, yeah, of where is how does national culture shape the management style locally, right? Interestingly, the employee in the Middle East doesn't feel that they've had a good day unless they had been shouted at by their manager. Yeah. So there is that element. Yeah. And the management control system is quite different. So for example, if you look at China and Qatar, both culturally are quite power distance. There's a big distance between the employee and the owner manager, right? But in China, the way management style is that you get everybody together and you talk to them, you tell them what to do. You're still autocratic. Yeah. Whereas in Qatar, you won't put them all in the same room. You will deal with them one-to-one. Yeah. Because culture is much more individualistic culture rather than a collectivist culture, right? So it's the national culture shapes what is acceptable, what is the preferred management style. So we found that. So everything I said here about the type of organizations we need to be, and if you look at the type of companies I'm talking, it's mostly all of them are in Western economies and developed economies. So you need to that's a qualifier about these findings. Yeah, I'm not suggesting it won't work somewhere else, but there are some cultures that there are some expectations that you behave more autocratically. Yeah.
Thank you.
May I have more questions maybe from the audience?
Yes, I have one actually.
You're outside.
We are listening to the seminar not by us, with my wife also. Yes.
Okay.
So
hello. Hi.
Hi.
So if you let, we will have two questions for one of each. One is actually connected with the previous one. Based on the economic or markets, you described those differences, but based on the industry, business industry, does those ABCD or other control mechanisms gives good performances, or always B gives the best?
I think, yeah.
And connected with that, the measuring the KPIs should be generally measure them once a year, and decide and measure them once a year, or during the year, I mean business calendar year, should we review them during the year?
Yeah. So let me answer that question. What was the first question? I was starting to answer it and I forgot the question. Oh yeah,
business industry.
You said industry. Well, I think what's important here, what I'm suggesting here is not, and the evidence suggests that, it's, you know, I'm still sharing my screen, am I not? Yeah. What I said is you need to be in this box, right? Let me just get my pen. You need to be in this box somewhere, we said, yeah? But, you know, and that boxes might be like this, yeah? And in some countries and some sectors, you can operate maybe here, but some sectors you maybe need to be here, Yeah, but some other sectors you need to be here, but you don't want to be here. Yeah.
Okay.
And for example, if you are operating a nuclear power plant, okay, you can't afford it to go, oh, let's have a consultation that goes kaboom at the background. You know, there's and also if you look at, there are some sectors who are highly regulated, pharmaceuticals. We see all the vaccines thing, you know, highly regulated, everything a bit very controlled. So you know, I think there are some movements there. What's more important, getting the right balance for your organization, for your culture. Yeah, that's really important. The thing is that if you are at the bottom corner here, your best people leave, okay, and you never get anybody innovating anything. Nobody comes up with ideas. If you are a business owner, you are the only one who has to come up with the right ideas and save everybody else, right? Because people feel frightened, they're not having the space. And where does innovation comes from? Innovation comes from the collective mind in the divergent way of thinking when you converge it. Yeah. So that was my first answer. The second part of the question was what again, Selçuk? Just remind me.
Measuring and reviewing the
Yeah,
KPIs
okay.
during the year, once or some more time.
So let me just fast forward the presentation to my quote from. So Freeterm used to use an approach called policy deployment. Yeah, Hoshinkanri planning. You might have heard it. Yeah, very. This is using quality function deployment type of matrices to take strategy and deploy it through the organization. So it took them 3 months to go through the deployment process. When I asked them, so good, you can do this 4 times a year, they said, no, we don't want to do it 4 times a day. Once is enough. Okay. But then when they use the approach I've described here, they can do it like this. They can do it once a week if they want to. You know, they don't want to do it once a week, but they could do it once a week. The key thing is here, things don't change. Crises don't wait. Opportunities don't wait for the beginning of the year. That doesn't wait till for you to have your strategy meeting. Yeah. So if I was your competitor, if I know you have a strategy meeting once a year, I would wait till you have a strategy meeting. I'll launch my new product the day after, because I know that it'll take you 1 year to respond. So forget the calendar. This is a living thing. It should not be, you know, if you are sailing a boat, if you're a captain of a boat, you won't say, I'm going to go and play with the steering wheel once a day. You know, you won't do that. You will go around, you'll turn the boat when you need to change the boat. Yeah, not based on some sort of a time element.
Okay, thanks a lot.
No problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
However,
I'm very pleased to meet you.
Yeah, nice meeting you as well.
However, Professor, changing the strategy very frequently, can they give the feeling that the company is not stable?
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. So strategy is not so important, okay? I think you teach strategy as a leg, and I think strategy is really,
yes.
You don't need strategy. You need a purpose for the organization. You need a constant purpose, okay? Strategy is about how you're gonna get to that purpose, how you're gonna achieve that purpose, yeah? So if you need to change the way what you're doing to get to that quickly or more reliably or more cheaply or whatever, then you change it. Yeah, this thing of not changing strategy is a big ball and chain. Very often is a big, that mentality is big ball and chain on agility. We should not be frightened of changing strategy. Yeah. Because I've got one experience with a large engineering company where the management team made a decision to outsource. The strategy was to achieve their objectives by outsourcing light manufacturing. Yeah, and before they implemented the outsourcing, there was some data showing that would be the wrong thing to do. Because they made the commitment, because it was their strategy, they did it. It cost them millions of pounds and hundreds of people's jobs. Only 3 years later, they brought everything back again. And to be honest, I think they would have been a much bigger company, a much better performing company if they just didn't do that. You know, if they just listened to the signal saying, I know your strategy is this. We know you told the shareholders you were going to do this, and the city, you know, the public company, you're going to do this. But it's the wrong thing to do. But we said that we need to deliver on our promises. We said to shareholders that we are going to do this. Well, you're actually, by doing that, you're damaging the shareholders. Yeah, you're going to damage shareholders' pockets in the long term. In the short term, yeah, okay, shareholders going to say, yeah, they deliver this, they deliver what they said. But in the long term, they damage shareholders' pocket effectively. Yeah.
Sorry, Professor Umit, we are running out of time. I just would like to know if we can find out more about this in your book. I understood that many
yes,
of these, yeah.
Some of these are in my book, some of them is not. Half of it is, but yeah, you just need to come and do the IMIM course and come onto my course to find out more.
That's great.
Luckily,
yeah,
thank you.
You did, yes, yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I'm not sure if we have time for one last question. I'm not sure if somebody else has a question or otherwise. I mean, we will share this webinar in the next IMIM newsletter. So maybe people could approach you as well if they have more questions. That'll be fine.
Okay, I will send my slides to Asselbeck for sharing with everybody else. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Great. Nice talking to you all. Bye.
Thank you, Professor Umit Bititci. And just to finalize this webinar, I just would like to share with you our incoming topics so that you can save the date. Most of the Thursdays, I think at least 3 Thursdays each month, we have selected the following topics from our different partners in the IMIM. So they cover a variety of topics, as you can see. You will also receive this in the incoming newsletter, but here you can take a look at the different topics. So we're finalizing in July the 1st. Well, thank you very much for being here. Please keep in touch. Thank you for being part of our IMIM community. Here is also the IMIM email in case that you have further questions, and of course we will share today's slides from Professor Bititci and also this recording, and we hope to see you in the next webinar. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.